Welcome to Current Chatter, the place where we dive into the latest news and happenings going on around the world. Join mother and son duo Koda and Losa as they engage in lively debates over current affairs and anything else that sparks a discussion. With diverse perspectives and a bit of fun, you never know what topics will come up next. Tune in every Friday afternoon for your weekly dose of Current Chatter.
Welcome. Guess what day it is? It's Friday, and that means it's time for Current Chatter with Losa and Takota. This is Losa speaking. How you doing this week, Takota?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. Last week was bad. I'd fallen down the stairs and was barely mobile, but this week I'm doing much better.
Yeah?
Yep.
You all healed and ready to go?
I wouldn't say healed, but, it's not stopping me from completing anything.
I saw that Dad played hooky yesterday and you went and outfished him, is that right?
Yeah, I caught 13 fish. He only caught 6.
Hell yeah.
And he hates to get outfished. He hates it, but I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world to do, since he taught me how to fish.
Did he even have your same setup and it just is like you had the magic pole?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the magic lure. I had the magic lure on my fishing pole. Then we had fresh fish for dinner last night. It was delicious.
Did you smoke it?
We just baked it because we'd gotten home late. So
yeah, that makes sense. Well, congratulations on out fishing, Dad. Make sure you don't let him live that down.
Never.
No.
Never, ever.
So, we have this guy at work. I don't have permission to use his name, but he's known around the office as the dad joke guy. He just always has a good dad joke. And today he came into my office and he was like, "Hey, Koda, do you want a unicorn costume?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And he set this box down in my office, and it wasn't even 15 seconds later that I was trying to put this costume on. It is definitely not made for a fat boy, but I sausage linked myself in there. Like a really fat tube of sausage.
Perfect.
It did not fit perfect. The twigs and berries were suffocated. But then I ran around the office in this unicorn costume, and everybody had a heyday with it. And we have to wear hard hats out on the floor at work. And I just put a hard hat on top of the unicorn head and tried to go out to the warehouse to give the warehouse guys a good laugh. And there was a customer right outside the door. And I didn't want the customer to see me acting like a goofball, we're like a big company, So I ended up trying to run back into the office. And Jody, my coworker, I about knocked her out trying to run because I can't see. You've only got the littlest bit of vision, and it's so hot in that mask. My glasses were all fogged up. And I ended up hitting Jody. I didn't knock her over, but I gave her a pretty good shove, I guess. And then I just started to run, and the way I was running, it caused the horn to just flop, and everything was just moving on this giant costume I had on. And Jody just couldn't. She had to hold onto the wall for support, and was laughing her ass off. Everybody thought it was the funniest thing ever. So yeah, I've got a unicorn costume now, and it's fucking great.
Beautiful. I think that should be the name of the episode, where the unicorn outfit makes its first appearance.
We'll post a couple of pictures on the Instagram.
So what news things do you have this week for me today, Takota?
So this comes from Associated Press again. In the headline, Trump portrait removed at Colorado Capitol after he said it was distorted.
Did you see it?
I think it looks okay.
It was distorted. It's one person's interpretation.
Yeah. Did you like it? Did you see it?
No, I thought it was terrible.
Did you really? Okay, so here, let me send you the link I have, and then you look at the picture. I'm going to send it.
Me and Dad were laughing. We were going to make fun of you because we were whoever they chose. It looks like somebody tried to paint him and then got the facial, the shape wrong and just went from there.
Okay. So I can totally see where you're saying how it looked wrong, but I think it depends on the angle, because the picture that was floating around online was far away, and when it's up close, I think it looks a lot better, because the first picture I saw of it is, it's distorted. It does not look good. So look at the picture I just sent you on your email, and I honestly think this picture looks a lot better than the one that was floating around online. And again, this is from AP. So closer up, it definitely looks much better.
You think?
I do. Tell me what you think.
Visitors react to Trump portrait removed in Colorado Capitol after he said it was distorted. See, that one kind of makes it, that one almost looks a little, that's not the same painting.
It is the same painting.
No, that's not the same painting that I saw.
I'm telling you, it's the position of the painting that you saw.
So, this is going to make you laugh. It's the same photo.
I'm telling you, from a different angle, it looks different.
The angle that they had on before,
the one that's floating around line, does not look good.
It's horrible.
But the one on the one that where you're closer up to it, it looks a lot better, doesn't it?
It does. That looks like a normal painting.
Yeah, exactly. Make
sure you put the link in the notes of the photo we're looking at.
Okay. I can definitely do that. But yeah, I can't find the original post of it. I pulled up what his rant about it, and the link I have is just like a gentleman, or excuse me, I don't know their pronouns. It's just some human that's talking about how they think that it looks all right. It does look good, and that maybe he just needed a different angle of it.
Yeah, the angle that I saw was it was orange and brown, and gave him big jowls. It was not an impressive.
If I send you the tweet, you want to read it out loud? Because I'm horrible at reading out loud. Hi, Enzo. Say hi. Yeah. You're such a good boy. My little guy, huh?
He says, I would much prefer not having a picture than having this one in the post. And further said, the governor should be ashamed of himself. In 2 follow-up posts, the 78-year-old uploaded images of himself, likely aiming to present photos he felt were more flattering. Nobody likes the bad pictures of Donald Trump or painting of themselves, but the one in Colorado, in the state capitol, put up by the governor, along with all the other presidents, was purposely distorted to a level that even I, perhaps, have never seen before. The artist also did President Obama, and he looks wonderful. But the one on me is truly the worst. She must have lost her talent as she got older. In any event, I would much prefer not having a picture than having this one. But many people from Colorado have called and written to complain. In fact, they're actually angry about it and speaking on their behalf to the radical left governor, Jared Polis, who is extremely weak in crime, in particular with respect to Aragua, which practically took over Aurora. Don't worry, we saved it. Let's take it down. Jared should be ashamed of him.
I don't know. The Trendiragua thing? I'm not sure what that is. I should know what's happening.
You really should. Because you live in Denver. They are the new MS-13. You know what MS-13 is, right?
No.
Great, because that's one of my articles today.
Is it about Aurora?
Well, you can lump Aurora in with it and the stuff that they're doing that creates. They're killing people, they're stealing, they're trafficking drugs, they're trafficking people. And today, the FBI arrested the third from the top, I guess, from the MS-13 gang. He's the leader there. They confiscated all sorts of weapons that he had held in his house. He was only 24, Takota, and said that he was indoctrinated into the MS-13 gang when he was in his early teens, which is just sad to me. But it's nice to know that some of the worst, according to Pam Bondi, Attorney General for the United States, they're working to get these people off the streets. He was an illegal immigrant from El Salvador, and so that's where we will be gladly sending him back.
He's not going to, Azkaban prison or anything.
He may end up in one of those. Have you seen the things on the prisons lately that they're sending people to?
Yeah, I've read a little bit into it. I really should catch more up into what's happening currently. I am more for the funny kind of shit, but the political side of it all, I know they're turning old prisons into immigration camps, but no, I haven't.
Not anymore, because we've cut down on the immigrants. I saw a stat today that said that the immigrant people coming across the border, there were 94% corrected. So it went from 18,000 to 1,000 people coming across the border. But yeah, MS-13's a horrible gang. Tren de Aragua is the new one that's just started coming out in the last year or so, last couple of years. Like, you'll have to look up Aurora, Colorado.
I know they attempted to take over like one of the apartment complexes over there. Yeah, so I know a little bit about it. I don't know a whole lot. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it, and I can share my thoughts on it next week a little better, because I don't know much about it, so I have no right to speak on it today. You know what I mean? One thing that comes to my mind is, so I did ROTC in high school. What that is that's the Reserve Officer Training Corps or camp. I can't remember.
I think it's Corps.
But one of the best things I ever did was I presented the national colors in a color guard for people who had taken all of the right steps to become a U.S. citizen. And I just remember watching those people with such pride becoming a United States citizen. You know what I mean? And I hope that those people are safe and everything that's happening now, because they took all the right steps to become a United States citizen. I'll never forget, there was one gentleman in the back row that was just tearing up watching us present the flags while they did the national anthem and whatnot, and he just was like, you could tell the pride he felt in himself for becoming an American, and I don't know if everybody feels that kind of pride nowadays. It's one memory that sticks out to me from high school, is being able to be part of that ceremony for those humans.
Yeah, I think it's important to in your country. I really do. And that goes a long way for a lot of people. So that was my first article. What other ones do you have, Dakota?
Okay, so my next story that I would like to get into, this comes from the HuffPost. Utah becomes first state to phase out universal vote by mail ballots. It says, Utah's Republican Governor Spencer Cox, that's C-O-X, not C-O-C-K-S, signed a bill Wednesday to phase out the state's universal mail-in voting system, making the first time a state has ended the procedure of mailing a ballot to every registered voter. With his signature, Utah will phase out universal vote by mail starting in 2029. Utah is one of only 8 states with such a policy in place and was the only solid Republican one among them. Colorado also does mail-in ballots or mail-in votes. Cox said that this was a brilliant bill earlier in the month, saying it's necessary to restore election trust among the people who wrongly believe that we have mass fraud in our elections, though Cox's remarks pushed back against President Trump's baseless claims that mail-in voting is ripe with fraud. Signing this bill is in line with the president's crackdown on absentee voting. On Monday, Trump issued an executive order barring states from counting mail-in ballots that arrive after election date, regardless of state laws on postmarking.
So, the article that I read today about it said that, yes, that everything you're saying is true, that they're giving everybody the next 3 or 4 years to opt into it or to opt out of it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like they're just going to turn it off in 2029 or 2027 or whenever. What they're going to do is they automatically just send out mail-in ballots to everybody in Utah. But now you have to opt into it and send that in so that it will continue to send you mail-in ballots. Otherwise, you will not get one. Which what they're hoping to do is cut down on fraud for people who are getting more than one in their household. Because, I still get Justin's mail-in ballot.
Oh, so they're saying you could use use his vote, even though he's registered in Idaho.
So, I think it's a good thing.
I know they have, checks and balances when it comes to mail-in ballots. I pulled up Colorado's checks and balances. Before mail-in ballots is counted, elected officials verify it by checking information against what they have in file to ensure they match. Once received, mail-in ballots are kept in a secure location until they are counted, then returned to secure storage afterwards. They also have members of the public and disguised observers to watch ballot counting process. This allows them to call out any wrongdoings. Post-election audits can be confirmed whether the results of the election accurately reflect the intentions of the voters.
Just make a comment here.
Yeah.
It may just be a funny comment, but can you imagine the stress you would be under if you were, number one, having to count ballots, and number two, you had random people watching you do it? to make sure you were doing it right, that would be the most stressful job. I would literally, that would drive me to drink.
Well, I think that's the whole point of it, is because after, what was it, the 2020 election, where we had all those accusations of fraud, I think a lot of those were put into place to help with that. There's no way you can truly get 100% away from it. I don't know the statistics of the mail-in ballots being fraudulent. I haven't looked into it. All I did was look into what Colorado is doing to step away to have less fraud. But truly, that's the only way I vote. And that's just me. That's the more comfortable way for me to vote. I can just drop it off on my way to work. You know what I mean? I just drop it off in the mailbox and I'm good to go. So I'm comfortable doing that. I'm not 100%, especially where the world is at now and things that I had seen going on election day, according to TikTok. And that's not my news outlet. I just happen to see news shit on TikTok. But I don't know if I would have been comfortable enough to sit and stand in line. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah. I vote primarily through the mail.
That and a lot of the voting stuff that comes through, I have no idea what it means. So when I do a mail-in ballot, I can sit and research what these actual things I'm voting for, because I vote every year, or every time a vote comes up. I even do the small little votes that don't count. I'm using quotation marks, don't count. Every vote counts. But even then, I'm sitting there researching everything there is to know about it so that I feel like I'm making the most educated vote that I can, you know?
And that's important.
Yeah, I think this last year, they not only sent us our mail-in ballots, but they sent us a whole book, a thick book of every law and what voting this or that would make for that law. And my partner and I just sat and read it together and we voted on it. I don't know what they voted. They don't know what I voted. They just read it and we were able to, you know what I mean? It was more of an educated vote.
I think that along with some of the stuff that we were talking about before, about illegal aliens and then being able to become a U.S. citizen and just the ability to vote, whether it be in person or mail-in, is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's the more modern thing. I think in the next several years, we may even be able to vote just on our phones. You know what I mean? I don't...
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's only a matter of time before it's online and you have to sign in to a secured website and prove your identity and stuff. So,
yeah. What else you got, Mama?
So, a study I read today suggests that contrary to expectations and challenging the commonly held belief that marriage is protective against cognitive decline and dementia, this study goes in the face of everything and saying that people with married adults that exhibit higher risk of dementia compared to those never married, divorced, or widowed. So what that means is the findings can change the way we understand the connection between marital status and the risk of dementia. Previous work emphasized the benefits of marriage. However, married individuals may have a smaller social network and tend to be less self-reliant and may experience stressful conditions such as caregiving, which could contribute to the risks of dementia.
So it's saying marriage is another risk to dementia?
No, if you are married, then there's less chance of you getting dementia.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. I smell what you stepped on now.
So one of the first analyses to evaluate dementia by marital status in the U.S. dated from the Health and Retirement Study from the year 2000 to the year 2014.
Mm-hmm.
The study showed that unmarried individuals had significantly higher odds of developing dementia than their married. So long-term relationships, people with long-term relationships are less likely to get dementia. And as an older person getting into the elderly years, not that I'm even close to that.
Yeah, don't say that. I don't like that sentence at all.
The dementia, I'm always afraid I'm going to get dementia, and so was your dad. So to hear that new study states that marriage is a contributor to not having dementia, that's a good sign.
I heard on a podcast, I believe it was a last podcast on the left, I heard that picking your nose is also a way to develop dementia later down on the road.
So they did a study and people were honest with them about picking my nose?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. I pick my nose. I dig for gold. I don't give a fuck. Sometimes a booger just is irritating and I gotta get it the fuck out and I can't blow it out.
They say that picking your nose is something that everybody does, but nobody admits to it, right?
I'm admitting to it right now, so obviously somebody does. But I think what they were saying is you leave yourself open for more bacteria because of your nails and how dirty your hands are, and you could scratch the inside of your nose picking it, and
that makes sense.
Yeah, that bacteria or the things you're breathing in could also lead to it, because you're really not supposed to pick your nose, but everybody does it.
Keep your fingers out of your nose.
And your mouth. That's how you get the corona.
You get the corona. All right. You have another funny article you wanted to do.
All right. Goat opens gate, lets kangaroo loose in South Carolina.
Is this at a zoo?
Yeah, I think so.
So start over.
So a goat opened a gate, and the kangaroo escaped after the gate was open.
And then what did the kangaroo do?
I don't know yet, because I honestly didn't read it. I saw the headline and was like, I gotta read this on the podcast. So you're getting a live reaction from the both of us. So this is coming from UPI.com. I don't know what that stands for. Okay. So March 24th, police in South Carolina rounded up an escaped kangaroo, which turned out to have been released by a mischievous goat. Departments on a social media post said that the 4th Protocol Division responded to a neighborhood where a kangaroo. Officers returned this pouch potato pet home, the post said. The animal's owner, so I guess it wasn't a zoo, it was just like a person who has exotic pets. The animal's owner, Lisa Richardson, said she had just woken up when a neighbor alerted her that her exotic pet was on the loose. Richard said she had to go out in her silk pink pajamas to help police wrangle the loose roo. Richard later determined the kangaroo had gotten out thanks to her goat unlatching the gate.
It's too funny.
Isn't that wild? Can you imagine, getting up, going and grabbing, your newspaper out of the front yard and you see a kangaroo?
Just jump by.
I would wonder if I had put acid in my coffee, or if I was still asleep, or if I had the wrong mushrooms on my breakfast omelet. I'd be like, what the fuck?
How did this happen?
Is this real life?
Is it real? Because I would do the same thing. I would question my own reality.
Absolutely. What else are you going to fucking do at that point?
Exactly.
I think we're going to name this episode... I think we're going to name this episode Loose Roos and Unicorns.
Perfect title. So, guess what?
What?
Sundance Film Festival?
Yeah.
Moving to Colorado.
No shit. Why are they leaving Utah?
2027, Colorado will be the new home of the Sundance Film Festival.
Wait, why?
In Boulder. They just said that they were thinking of their lease or permit or something to do here in Utah was up, and is up in 2026, and they're like, give us a better area to do it in. And so it came down to Ohio, Boulder, and Salt Lake City, and they chose Boulder because the closeness of the Boulder community.
See, and I can understand that, because Boulder is like a whole different world out there. It's my kind of place. I love Boulder. I love the atmosphere out there. It's hippie vibe, right. Young people. It's fun out there. So I can see it really. What's the word I'm looking for? I can see it really adding well to the culture out in Boulder. I don't know how they're going to do with the celebrities. I got to call Johnny Knoxville a jackass at Sundance Festival. So the story with that is I was working security, and we were glorified crossing guards, really, at the security job. There was a police officer. They have one major 4-way intersection in Park City. So officer would blow a whistle and say, go to such and such street. So we would block off such and such street, and they would let the cars go through on the other side. And then he'd blow the whistle and go to the other side. Well, he had blown the whistle, and I'd stop pedestrians from walking from one side to the other. And who just happened to walk up with his posse? Johnny Knoxville and his group of people. And I said, hey, Johnny, I can't have you be a jackass right now. And he looked at me and went, very funny, kid.
Very funny, kid.
And then I think his bodyguard was like, can you let him cross? Do you know who he is? And I was like, yeah, I know who he is. Obviously I do, but no, I can't because this is my job. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yep, Sundance is moving.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Well, they have it in like 3 or 4 different locations here in Salt Lake. They have it in Salt Lake, Weber, Park City, and Sundance, where Sundance is up in the mountains. And so to have, I think when I read the article, it said that it was more like they would have all of everything in the same place. So it would be like an actual festival. You know what I mean?
Boulder's big. Like, it's not just the, UC? The Bulls, it's not just the UC, because I've been all around the UC campus and whatnot, but Boulder's ginormous, so it'd be cool over there for sure. It would definitely fit the vibe.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to look up and see how Colorado feels about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just very interesting, but that's all I have for today, Takota. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't.
And if you're listening to our podcast, please leave us a review.
Yeah, it would help out a lot.
With our numbers, and it helps us with the algorithm and all that fun stuff. So if you're listening, make sure to leave a review once we're done listening to the wonderful podcast.
Mama got us set up on this crazy thing called Buzzsprout, and so not only are we on Spotify, because that's where we were on for a little while, but now what other websites are we on?
We're on all the major podcast sites except for iHeart Podcast, which I'm having some difficulty with. So as soon as I can get fixed, then we will be on all the major platforms.
Yeah, I am also working on getting us on YouTube Music. We're having a little hard time with the way that I edit things, so it's my fault. I am editing it at a MP3, and YouTube needs an MP4, and even when you convert it, it doesn't like it, but I'm working on it. So hopefully we will be on YouTube soon. Buzzsprout doesn't have all of our podcasts on there right now. Our most up-to-date is still Spotify, but we will be getting more of the episodes on Buzzsprout as time allows.
Yeah, on Apple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to know what people think of our new logo. Leave a comment about the new logo. I love it. I think we've gone through 2 or 3 iterations, and I think this was the best one yet. So thanks for Takota for putting that together.
Yeah, Rin said that they were upset because we didn't use the Sphinx one. That was their big bugaboo. Yeah.
We can still put it in.
Yeah, maybe we could use it on our Patreon. We do plan on doing a Patreon. We just want to see where this takes us before we start adding in those extra steps. Mama's also starting a new job, so we have to take into account that she needs to get into the rhythm of her new job and her new atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, a Patreon will be coming, but I don't have anything else to talk about. Do you, Mama?
I don't.
Alrighty. Well, as always, guys, please make sure you drink your water and talk to your therapist. And we will see you next time.
Bye!
Bye-bye! Hell yeah, I suck toes.
Why?
Come on, you fucker.